in the previous administration, the CAS nominees were never subjected to competitive recruitment. Now,
Yes.
this time the candidates will be facing interviews. Will this solve the problem?
You know, let me tell you, I am one of the people who really believes that there's a problem. We are having a problem with this issue of the public service commission and establishment of offices and their role in all that, and then the courts, you know, what they are asserting, you know, all this process that is supposed to be followed. Look, the president has absolute power, right, when it comes to establishing any office within the executive.
All right.
He shouldn't have to justify or explain himself so extensively where the courts keep injecting the establishment of an office. Let me tell you, for instance, if the president today woke up in the morning and decided, actually, I think I am having a problem in that corner. Maybe I'm having a problem with the Somalis dispute in the maritime, for instance, issue, and I need a special officer, or I need a special technical assistant to help me really figure out that particular problem. And so therefore, I'm going to establish a secretariat, you know, an advisor with a few officers to be able to help me with that issue. The president should be able to establish that, because that is what it will take for him to execute his mandate. And I think that the courts need to be a little bit lenient with the executive when it comes to the president's powers to establish the offices that he needs. And that's why I believe that all this going round, I think, like she's saying, well, we should have the faith that the court will come up with the best outcome. But I think to some extent, I think the judiciary could be overreaching into the executive. Remember, the Judicial Service Commission, for example, which is one that is in charge of the human resource within the judiciary, is chaired by the Chief Justice. So the Chief Justice gets to have complete authority over the hiring and the firing and the moderation of the human resource within the judiciary. The same thing happens in Parliament. You have the Parliamentary Service Commissions. They're chaired by the Senate, by the speakers of the National Assembly and the Speaker of the Senate. So they have complete authority over the human resource. But when it comes to the executive, you have a Public Service Commission that is supposed to be now independent of the president. Ideally, the Public Service Commission should be chaired by the president, or by proxy, perhaps the head of public service or his chief of staff. That is how it should be, so to have complete authority over the people who are the human resource that are working under him. So I think there is a sense in which everybody is getting into the president's space in terms of the space.
I see Martina disagreeing with that.
But let me say, let me say this: it is within the president's powers to appoint you as a minister, and then appoint for you a deputy. I don't think there is anywhere in the Constitution that bars him from appointing deputy ministers for the ministers that he has established. Because if you're told you can appoint 22 ministers, right, and I decide I think you need an assistant, nothing stops him from appointing an assistant minister. And I think that's where we are getting caught up with all this conversation about CASs, because we keep wanting to make it into this elaborate thing. These are deputy ministers. Okay. The president has a prerogative.
Let's wind up on this, Martina, very quickly as you respond to that as we move on.
I just want to